my Aquarius intuitors, it's Aria here with your reading that I'm basically having cover this time frame that we're currently in. We're right in the middle of an incredible important gateway that begins on December 12 and ends on December 21. And this gateway is all about a time for things being completely shifted and changed, transmutation. So things that were one way, you're taking and converting all of that, whether it's negativity or whatever that situation is, and you're changing it into something positive, or turning it into something that you truly want in your life. And so I have laid out some Lenormand cards here. We're going to get a look at that and then pull some tarot cards next. And I just want to say, make sure you check your Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, because this message may not resonate with everyone, but it might be exactly right for you. So just take or leave whatever messages are for you in this reading today, right now. And without any further ado, let's get right into it. So here I have the two partners, and I have one here, and one of these might resonate with you more than the other, and you'll see that the other is the other person. So one of you right now is facing a time of transition, of moving from one place to another, and this could be like in a physical sense, but it also could be in a it doesn't necessarily mean physical. It could be about bridging over from one place of being to another, and I do kind of feel like that's being reflected in this portal right now, where you are transmuting something from one place to another. But it also means even a physical bridge across between, because we are talking about a soulmate connection here. It could be in partnership, and what is it going to take for you to be able to shift from a place of uncertainty, because the clouds are about uncertainty and even disillusionment, or not being able to see things clearly, confusion, and then shift into something very solid. In fact, the anchor and the clouds are very opposite cards, in that the clouds are, clouds can just disappear. The sun can come out and the clouds will disappear and they melt away. But anchors are, made to last. They're very heavy. They're very grounding. They're solid, and they're very sure. So they have quite an opposite meaning to have the anchor and the clouds. Together, these cards mean about having resolve and having focus, being able to have concentration. So really the anchor actually completely changes the meaning of the clouds to almost being the exact opposite that it would be otherwise. And so also interestingly, that from the clouds to the anchor means about coming to a decision or settling something after things have been disruptive. And I kind of feel like the bridge card is interesting in the middle of that, because it means that really talks about that crossing over from uncertainty into certainty. So that's what's going on with one of you. And with the other person, there's been a lot of travel that's been taking place, or there may be travel that's being considered at this time, because we actually have a decision card in the middle. The road card is about making a decision and saying also that, affirming that you have free will choice in the matter, but there is a decision coming up in a very central way. Now, I am using the Gilded Reverie Lenormand, which does have some extra cards, and we did have actually 3 of these are cards that are not in the normal Lenormand deck. And this card here is the Mask. Now, the Mask can definitely be about somebody who's not always being honest. So it can be that there could be in this situation someone's not been honest, but we'll pull some tarot cards to see if that's been the case or not, or if this is more about the masks that we wear in the sense that it's not that these different masks are necessarily a bad thing. It's just that we have different aspects of ourselves. In fact, it's just one mask, but there's like 3 sides to it. And so something about this situation that's coming up right now has a lot to do, like the decision that needs to be made, and even something about the travel could have something to do with this person really coming into a sense of ownership of their own different aspects of themselves. So maybe even it is about traveling traveling to go to a seminar where they're going to be delving into the different kind of aspects of their psyche. So maybe even some self help kind of things, or something along that line could also be in play. This spread right here is about what's going on between the two of you. And one thing I see because the center card is about the coffin, which is about taking a break. It's about some kind of an ending. And it is about transition too, so, and transformation. And because we are transmuting something, what I see here is that what's being, and this card is about transmutation. I feel like what we're seeing is a shift and a move from a lot of uncertainty and indecision and being stuck in a maze, because that's what this is. This is the labyrinth. And the labyrinth, you know, it's a very frustrating space to be in, because like even you can see these people, they can see each other, but they can't get over to each other because they have all these different you know, barriers that are in the way. And I feel like in this relationship, there's been a sense and a feeling of, oh my goodness, I can just see them right over there, but I just can't get there. I can't get to them. Kind of like this mask. This mask is being worn, and like you get glimpses of the different you know, aspects of that person, and yet there's, in a sense, like the true self, the true person deep down inside is still not coming forth, and not being able to actually see and come to be with that person. There's barriers and blocks, and it does feel like there's going to be a shift and a change in that. And the cross is about things that are really destined to occur. It also can be about burdens and about you know, trials and difficulties. And so it could be that like what's being transmuted is the trial and the difficulty of the labyrinth altogether is being shifted and transmuted at this time. We do see a definite shift on this person. So one of you, I think, really is able to take all of this energy of this frustrating space to be in, and you are able to shift, you know, from the confusion into something that's much more anchored. Now let's go ahead and take a look at a few tarot cards to see what comes up for us. Oops. That one just wanted to go on the floor. And I'm going to pull cards, 3 cards for each side. And then we'll see what comes up in the middle as well. Oh, I don't know whether one wants to come up, but we'll see. 8 of Swords, being trapped in your mind. 7 of Swords. Okay, so I did, because this one can be about somebody who hasn't been completely honest. It is interesting that the 7 of Swords came up on the other side. Now this card has a lot of different meanings for me, depending on the context, but I feel like it could be that I see the mask right now. It's coming up to me as kind of like it's a reflection. Also, you know, relationships are always like a reflection where somebody's reflecting back at you something inside of yourself that you needed to come to an awareness of, or you might be reflecting to them what they needed to have aware, you know, something needs to become up for awareness here. And I do feel like there has been dishonesty between the two of you. Now, it could have been that the, you know, one heavier on one side or the other. I feel like here it's just showing that your relationship is helping to reflect back to the two of you, or you know, one of you is helping the other or vice versa to see that which is inside of themselves that needed to be seen. And because the mask is on this side, I kind of feel like this is the person wearing the mask, and this coming up on your side here is like you're reflecting to them. I shouldn't say you, because actually it could be the other way around. So this person here is reflecting back to the other something that is within inside of themselves, and yet there has been for the person here, for one of you, it has been kind of confusing. And maybe you haven't really seen and understood that that's what was going on here. A lot of times we're having things that are playing out in our reality, in our experience, that we don't understand. And I feel like that, you know, like this situation that was playing out between the two of you, there was, you know, she's being blindfolded here and she's being trapped by these thoughts. So like all of these, you know, this confusion about what is going on with this person is like entrapping you, and you haven't been able to really see it. And the reason you haven't been able to see it is because they've been wearing a mask and they haven't really showed them their true selves. But on the other hand, we have the Strength card come up. So in the end, this situation can actually help you come into a greater strength of your own, you know, inside of you and your own inner strength, because of how you're responding, reacting, and the things that you learned from this situation with this person. So over here, we have the High Priestess, the 5 of Swords, and the Knight of Swords. I do feel like communication will be happening. If there has been some silence between you because of the Coffin card, I do feel like communication will occur. But there has been, you know, they've really had a sense of feeling defeated as well in this situation, or else they have maybe been in a situation of them being kind of the victor, and the other person and defeating the other side of the situation. But regardless, their higher self, their higher knowing, is allowing the circumstances to develop around them in order for them to come into realization, because the high priestess is all about your higher and deeper knowing. It also is about silence, and there has been maybe no talking between the two of you. They haven't been talking. This person here hasn't been talking, and so I do feel like that is going to shift. But I think it could be that the reason they haven't been talking is because they have gone through, this sense of the Five of Swords energy, and it's really forcing them to go and take a hard look at what's been happening with them wearing the masks, their ego. There's a decision they need to make regarding this. And again, the travel could play into that in some way. Let's see what's going on between the two of you here. The Hermit, wow. So we have just more going within. And we have the Seven of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles is really waiting. And the Ten of Pentacles, I feel like is just what's really wanted here. I think that this is what's between the both of you, is that you do want this. You want this like completion and feeling of wholeness, and that you have everything you ever wanted. I feel like you see the possibility of it, because the Seven of Pentacles sees that that's coming. It sees that there's potential here for something to bear fruit. But right now we have a sense of going within. I will just say that because of what's happening with this at this gateway, this time, this taking the time to go within is not such a bad thing. And again, we are looking at a really specific period of time where that's what's happening right now between the 12 and 12-21 gateways, and we definitely are going to be seeing some change afterwards. So if this situation is resonating with you, do check in later to see how things might shift out of that. But for right now, it does look like there's going to just be a lot of going within. Potential for a trip and a change and travel. And someone here is definitely realizing, from this whole situation and coming into clarity after having uncertainty. Thanks so much for watching, liking, subscribing, sharing my channel with others. And do check your Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs as well, because maybe those readings will resonate with you more than this one did, but I hope you enjoyed it.